So Autodesk just recently pushed out an update, and you'll notice this new dialog that pops up that says, what do you want to design? And it's this new intent-driven design functionality. Well, what is it and why should we be using it? Well, let me show you how it works. So when you create a new design in Fusion, you get this new intent-driven design dialog that appears that allows you to pick whether you want to create a part design, an assembly design, or a hybrid design. Now you might be asking, why did Autodesk do this? Well, for a couple different reasons. First, it simplifies the process for new users. Out-of-the-box Fusion can sometimes be confusing. Do I create a part or a body? Do I create a component? Can I do both? What should I use? Etc., etc. It also can be confusing for people coming from other CAD systems that are used to a part mode and an assembly mode. And third, when you start working with larger teams and larger assemblies, you want to be able to control your parts and your assemblies in a much more organized manner. And that's what this allows you to do. So I'm going to talk about each of these design methods at kind of a high level. So let's start with part design. You'll notice it allows you to specify whether you want to create a standard part or a sheet metal part, and then you can specify your units. I'm just going to leave everything default and say create new. And one of the things you'll notice is that the user interface has been simplified. In part design mode, you have only commands that have to do with part creation, such as, your create, sketches, extrudes, etc., and modification. When we get over to the assemble menu, you don't see commands such as joints, as-built joints, rigid groups, constrained components, etc. All of those are in the assemble design area. Also, you don't see commands such as create component. They've even simplified that process. Everything is a component now. So for example, I'm in my part design. I want to create a part, so I'm just going to do a quick cylinder here. Let's just make that 2 inches by 2 inches. Let's put a hole in here. So you're using your standard modeling commands, like so. I could add a chamfer onto the edge of this. Let's just make that 0.125. And let's just say that this is our part. Now I have a couple options here. I could go ahead and save this into my project, or I could even come in here and say add to an assembly. I'm going to go ahead and save this to my project. Right now I'm in this engineering class project. I'm just going to call this demo part and hit save. I could continue on and say new design, or I could hit Control N, which is the shortcut on a PC. To create a new document. And I could say I want to create another part design. So if I say create new, I'm in a new part design, a new tab has appeared, and I can continue creating my other parts. If I expand open my data panel, you'll see all of the different parts and assemblies that I have in here, along with this demo part that I just created. And you'll notice these little icons, these little cube icons specify that these are part designs. And then this icon here specifies that this is an assembly design, along with this gear case assembly here also. Okay, so that's kind of like high-level overview of creating a part design. Now let's say I've created a bunch of parts and I want to start assembling them together. I'll just create a new document, say assembly design. I'll leave my units as inch, create new, and notice my user interface has been simplified to only show the assembly type commands. So we'll see commands such as insert components, insert fasteners, insert McMaster car components. You can create a new component if necessary. You can pattern components, etc., etc. And then here are our relationships like constrained components, joints, rigid groups, motion links, and then other commands such as changing parameters, physical materials, moving things around, contact sets, configurations. So let's go ahead and insert in a component, and there's a couple different ways we can do this. We can either do it from the insert menu or from the data panel, and I'll show both. So I'm going to say insert component, and it brings up our project. I'll go ahead and select the handle, say insert, and it brings it into our assembly design. Now we can change the initial position if we want to. In this case, I'm just going to leave it alone. I'll leave ground to parent turned on and say OK. And we've now inserted this handle into our assembly design. You'll notice that it has this link icon. That means that it's linked back to the original part design. So what that means is if I came in here and clicked on this edge and right mouse clicked, you do not see commands such as fillet and chamfer. I can't modify this model in the assembly design yet. I'll get to that here in a moment. If I wanted to add a fillet or a chamfer, I would have to go back to the original part model and modify it there, or use this edit in place, which I'll talk about here in a moment. The assembly design is literally for assembling your design, bringing in components and adding in the relationships. So I want to insert some more components. I'll open this data panel, and here you can see all of the different parts that are in here. So if I wanted to insert in this gear case bottom, I'll just right click and say insert into current design. Now it comes in at like 0, 0. I'll go ahead and drag this up a little bit, say OK, and you'll notice it has no assembly context to the handle yet. But here I can come in and say I want to constrain this component. I could say, make that face touch that face. I'll say this cylinder lines up with that cylinder, and this cylinder lines up with that cylinder. And just like that, I've now constrained this gear case bottom to be rigidly attached with the handle. And because the handle is anchored in place, it can't move, and now the gear case bottom can't move. And I would just keep adding components in. So for example, I'll insert in this large gear, add in relationships just like I did previously. I'll say that this bottom face lines up with that bottom face, and that curved surface lines up with that curved surface. And by adding only 2 constraints, I've left open 1 constraint, which allows it to be a revolute constraint. And I would just keep adding in those components or those parts. Now you'll notice I have this gear case assembly. So I'm actually going to undo back a couple steps. So we're just back to this handle here. I'm going to start a new design, and I'll say new assembly design. And I can actually create like sub-assemblies and bring those sub-assemblies into my main assembly. In fact, I'm going to jump back here. Let's just save this and let's call it main assembly, just so it has a name up here. And let's save this guy. Let's call it sub-assembly, just so we can kind of keep track. And let's bring in this gear case bottom. We'll bring in the large gear. I'll do that really quick. I'll do a joint. In this case, I'll do a revolute joint. I showed constrained components earlier. Here, I'll just show you can use the joint command also to build these relationships. And let's just say we want that to be revolute. So I'll preview that and say OK. And so we now have a revolute joint. I'll do the same thing with this small gear. I'll insert that into the design, move that up. And again, I'll just do a quick joint, capture that center point, capture that center point, and it creates a revolute joint. Now to speed up time, I'm not going to do everything in here, but I would build a motion link between these two, bring in the gear case top, etc. And then I would save this as the subassembly. So I'll hit save. And we can see that each of these are linked back to the original individual part designs. Now I've already done this with this gear case assembly. So I'm going to jump back to my main assembly, right mouse click and say insert into current design. And here is that gear case assembly. I'll use constrained components or joints or both, it doesn't really matter. I'll say that face and that face. I could say that hole lines up with that hole there, and this hole lines up with that hole there. Say OK, and it brought in the assembly relationships from that subassembly, this gear case assembly. So you can see how it does have those two revolute joints. And if I expand this open, we can see that it has those two revolute joints along with that motion link. And so that small gear, let me turn off that gear case top. So you can see that small gear revolves when I rotate the large gear. So you can bring in these subassemblies also into your main assembly. And then you would just continue on bringing in these individual parts. I'll just do one more here just so you get the idea. I won't do the whole assembly, but I'll bring up the finished assembly so you can see what it looks like. Create a relationship. Say, this face here sits on top of that face there. I'll say, this circular face goes into that circular face there. Now, here's one of the cool things I like about constrained components. If I say OK and I drag this gear, nothing really happens because all I've done is basically position this. And if I were to grab it, it rotates in place, but it doesn't know that it's supposed to rotate with that other gear. But if I were to edit this constraint set and add in one more constraint and say that that face has to line up with this gear face in here. So you can see angular, they have to stay in line with each other. Just by adding in that last constraint, now when I rotate the main gear, the small gear rotates, and because the small gear is rotating, this shaft has to rotate also. Pretty slick. Okay. Let me go ahead and open up the full assembly just so you can kind of see the finished product. So you can kind of see all of the parts are in here. If I were to grab this zip pull and start to drag, you can see how everything works together. We're in an assembly design. You can see all of these parts are linked back to the original design, the original part designs, I should say. Now, I mentioned earlier about making modifications. So if I wanted to fillet this edge, if I right click, you'll notice I can't fillet that edge. But if I come in here and hover over handle, we see this edit in place. I'll go ahead and click on that, and it says some positions have changed. I'll go ahead and revert back to my original position. We're now in this edit in place mode. And if I click on this edge and right mouse click, now we're seeing the commands, like the modification commands, such as fillet and chamfer. So I'll just go ahead and add in a small fillet on these two edges there, say OK, and then finish edit in place. And I was able to make that modification to that part. Now, if I were to hit save, it's going to save that assembly into my design. I could also right click on handle and say open. Now I'm in part design mode. Here's my timeline of the part. These are all the steps that were used to create this part. And if I were to make a major change to this, so for example, let's just say we put a hole through the side of this. Let's just, not worry about dimensions or anything like that right now. I'm just going to make a big change like this and hit save. Watch what happens when I go back to my full assembly. Notice I get a message saying the design contains one or more out-of-date references. It has this little icon right here on the handle. And then I also have this notification up at the top. So I'll go ahead and click on that one there, and it's going to go and grab the latest version of the handle and bring that in. And obviously we can see the hole going through the handle now. The last mode is hybrid design. If I click on hybrid design and say create new, this is pretty much Fusion like you were used to it before this new intent-driven design. So you'll see your assemble menu, you'll see new component command, everything just like Fusion was before this intent-driven design. If you don't want to worry about the part mode and assembly mode and stuff like that, you can come into your preferences and you'll see right here under general, default design type. By default is set to part design. You could come in here and change it to hybrid design, hit apply and OK. And now when you say new design, it's going to default to hybrid design. Now I've seen some people complain, well, then I have to come over here and hit create new. Well, you don't have to. So check this out. If I just hit new design and hit enter, I didn't even have to move my cursor, and I'm in this hybrid design. Okay? Or let me go, for example, this handle. If I just hit Control N, which is the shortcut for new design, I just hit Control N on a PC. I just created a new design. That dialog didn't even come up, and I'm in this hybrid design. So it's just a couple shortcuts for you. Some other tips for you, if I'm in like this assembly design and I need some functionality that I don't have in here, I can come in here and convert the design type from an assembly to hybrid. So I'm going to say hybrid and convert, and now I have all of my regular commands, my assemble commands, components, etc., etc. And then I could even come back and switch to assembly design. So that's just a really quick overview of the new functionality. Again, really quick tip, if you're just not comfortable with it, use hybrid design. But I would recommend maybe on some of your projects, start playing around with, the part design and assembly design. It definitely speeds up your timeline working with inserted components like so. I find that it makes it easier in some cases, and I find that it makes it a little bit more complicated in some cases. And that's why I like the flexibility of being able to switch to hybrid mode if necessary. Let me know what you think in the comments, and hopefully you learned something new with this video. I hope you learned something new and enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you've hit like and subscribe. That way you'll be notified of upcoming videos. If you'd like to learn more about Fusion, make sure you visit my webpage at cadedllc.com. And as always, have fun learning Fusion.